Good morning, guys. How are we doing today? It's the 10th of October 2021 and it's very cold outside, and I've been struggling this week very much with nerve and joint pain, so I'm not going to go outside while it's very cold because bugger that. So, you know, there's going to be a lot more of these morning musings videos are going to be on the inside of the house for the next few months, as outside is probably going to be quite out of bounds for me for a while. Okay, so on the subject of that, I wanted to have a chat to you guys about alternative therapies. Now, as you guys know, I am a qualified herbalist, nutritionist, dietitian, and I did that because the place that I started, my own bistro that I had 20 years ago, was opposite a allergy centre, and I kind of started it because of all of that, and also because my own health, and I was having issues with certain medications and stuff like that. And I know a lot of you out there that you're learning about all this stuff, and you're doing a lot of herbalist stuff and all of that kind of stuff, and there's a few things that I wanted to just address today, okay, because I feel like I did have a chat to somebody who I saw something and I didn't agree with what they were saying because it's not something that I've ever seen used in that way before. And number one, I want to apologise if I came across a little bit forceful. I didn't mean to do that, and I probably should have spoken to you a little bit more privately about it. But the point is this. For those who are training, it is really important to triple check all your sources, and to make sure that it's not just one or two sources you're getting your information from. When I do diagnosis and I use certain herbs, I make sure that there are at least 5 sources of information of the use of that herb, and that they're all in accordance. If they're not, then, you know, I don't use it for that. There's no point, apart from the fact that it can be dangerous. You want to make sure that as many sources as possible are in agreement of what you're doing. The other thing is as well, while you're training, you're not insured. You're not insured. And people have a really nasty habit of suing people when things go wrong or don't go right, or, you know, whatever. They've used your advice and they've gone their own way on it. And I've known people to lose everything. Not me, but others, I have known them to lose everything before they even started. The kind of insurance you're looking at having is you need to have a public liability insurance, and you also have to have a medical practitioner's insurance. Both of those are incredibly expensive, and the public liability is 20 million coverage minimum, and the medical insurance is, I don't even want to think how much it covers, but it's a lot. Which is why the premiums are really expensive. Other than that, all I can say is this: use disclaimers. Say, not instead of you should use this, say this is what I use. It may work for you, it may not, but you also have to say that you're not a qualified practitioner. You are in training. You have to let people know this. This isn't just, and it has to be on everything, every video, every post, everything that you give any kind of information on. You have to say whether you're qualified or not, okay? Or if you're in training, or if it's just something that you do, okay? Or you know, and you just say, you also have to add that you're not a medical practitioner, but you are a training for this, so please check with your doctors, etc., before you try using any of this. It's really important to get that right, because the last thing that any of us want is for anyone to get hurt, even if it's their own stupidity because they're doing something that they think they know better at. A lot of different herbs have a lot of different reactions for a lot of different people, and as you train and as you learn this, you know all this stuff, you know. So I would really like to see people who are doing things with alternative therapies to start being a little bit more sensible with how they approach it. Approach it like you would anything. Approach it like you would anything. Cover your ass. Screw everybody else. Honestly. Fuck them. Cover your ass. Don't worry about what other people are doing. Cover yourself. Cover yourself. That way you cover your family, you cover the roof over your head, you cover everything. Okay? If you don't do that, you don't cover any of that, you're not covered. You're not safe. It's simple. Because there's always going to be one fucktard who ruins it for everybody else. Not kidding. So, yeah. And I'm not saying that all of this to be a nasty cow or to be a bitch or anything like that. I'm genuinely concerned for people, and I don't want anyone to be in the shit because they forget to put something that's really important, that covers them, you know, for anything that goes wrong, you know. Just because it works for you doesn't mean it's going to work for somebody else. And so if you just put, this works for me, you know, that's what's important. This works for me, it may not work for you. I'm not qualified. Check with your practitioners first. Check with your GP first to make sure that there's nothing that is contraindicated, you know, with your conditions or medications before you try any of this. It's always got to be done that way. We are an alternative. We are a complementary form of medication. So you can't complement what you refuse. So, you know, it is what it is. I work with my doctors. I do that. They know I'm qualified. They know that I know what I'm talking about. They know that I'm not just sort of like I just read up a leaflet or something like that. This is, they're fully aware of my qualifications and take them seriously, which helps. However, doesn't get things done quicker, but it does mean that I can go to them and say, look, how about we try this? And they'll be like yes or no, but I've got to take them the information as well. Okay. Yeah, so there we go. That's pretty much that. Yeah, just be careful out there, people. Just be aware as well that this just doesn't go for just people who are doing herbs or anything like that. Anyone giving any kind of advice whatsoever, you are showing what you do, right? And as I found out the other day after doing my own research, after reading this comment, I felt that it was important to share it here as well. If you have a group that is giving information or giving advice on things like pressure canning, for example, and they give the wrong advice, someone in the group gives the wrong advice, the person who owns the group is also liable. Yeah, that's scary, isn't it? So for those of us who do share what we do, what our knowledge, our skills, whether it be in the garden or the kitchen or in the first aid cupboard, we have to be incredibly careful. And for those of us who have community groups, we have to be very careful what goes on in there too, because people, you can be held responsible for someone else being injured due to somebody else's advice on your group. Sucks, doesn't it? Yeah, I know. It's just the way of the world. Everyone wants to sue somebody. And there's always that one person who will kick it off, just for the shits and giggles of it, because they've got a very sad life and got nothing better to do with it. So, you know, just cover your asses, guys. Seriously. Watch your wording. Make sure you're covered. Always have a disclaimer. Always. Okay. Love you guys heaps. Have an awesome, awesome day. Blessings.